Hello. Charles Van Morgan, YouTube Live again, broadcasting at about 7 a.m. from the Henley Street Bridge. So let's see how many people will wait for people to come on in. So it is Saturday morning, game day. Go Vols. Go Vols. My blood is orange. So there's not much traffic this morning because there's a football game out of Knoxville, and also it's a Saturday morning, so not a lot of people going to work, but we'll get the ones that are out here. So yeah, come on in. Charles Van Morgan, YouTube Live. So let's see if we got anybody in here. Okay, we're still waiting. It may take a few minutes, so let's give some background. I'm Charles Van Morgan. I am broadcasting YouTube Live from the Henley Street Bridge where there's a lot of traffic. We're trying to be consistent to help build up the YouTube algorithm to get a lot of people watching. Yesterday we had over 8,500 people, almost 10,000 people yesterday watching our channel. So we're getting a lot of attention, which that's what we're trying to do, build up a megaphone, a broadcast for people. So we're out here today with my sign, Morgan Governor 2026, and a question mark. I'm not sure we're running, but we might be. I'm not sure. And the other side of the sign, oh, it's noisy out here. The other side of the sign says live now, and got my QR code. Today we're going to talk about a local attorney here in Knoxville, Mr. Garza, Attorney Garza, from the Garza law firm. You hear a lot of his ads on TV, and I'm going to talk about him today. He's a lawyer, and we're going to discuss an incident with him where he sued me, albeit unsuccessfully, but he did. So, what are these people? But he sued me unsuccessfully. So we're gonna discuss that. The Garza law firm. He's got billboards up all over the place. I wish I had the money to advertise, but his lawsuit caused me to lose my job, even though I won. Had a lot to do with that. They fired me on the very day he filed a lawsuit that he lost. And so I don't have a lot of money, but I guess he does, because he's got advertisements everywhere. So yeah, come on in, Charles Van Morgan. I guess people are sleeping late, but we're broadcasting live from the Henley Street Bridge. We're going to talk about Garza and his lawsuit against me that he lost. And when you're talking about people, because he's a lawyer, so he knows the law, and I know the law too. I have a JD just like him, passed the bar. He's a licensed attorney, so he's constrained by the Board of Professional Conduct. He has to obey their rules. I don't, because I'm not a licensed attorney, because wrongfully they won't give me my law license, partly because of his lawsuit, I believe. Yeah, we got some people on board now. So yeah, we're out here on the bridge. But I'm going to talk about an attorney. Woo, yeah, I got some nerve, don't I, talking about attorney. You know why? Because attorneys can sue you. Yeah, and I got the legal knowledge. I'm going to talk just about facts. I can sue him back too. I can sue him back. So let's talk about Attorney Garza. Everybody in Knoxville knows who I'm talking about. Let's talk about. I'm going to talk about facts, because when you're talking about a public figure, let me explain to you the law a little bit. When you're talking about a public figure, defamation laws make it harder for a public figure to sue you. A public figure is somebody like me out here on YouTube, putting myself out to the public. So it's harder for me to sue people. A trooper's a public figure. It's harder for them to sue. You can say a lot about them. The standard, if you're suing a public figure, public official, public figure, somebody that makes their living or puts herself out in the public, or especially a political figure, subject to being criticized. And if you say something about them, if you say something about them, then the standard is, in order for them to successfully sue you, you have to prove, they have to prove that you said it with actual malice, that you said something false, that you knew it was false. And actual malice is a term of art, that you said it with knowledge of the falsity of the statement or reckless disregard for the truth. Now, I'm not telling you how to practice law or giving you legal advice. I'm telling you what I know from my JD, from textbooks. So a public official, somebody like me, if you say something bad about me, and people do, then I have to prove that you knew it was wrong. So even if it's false, and you have a sound basis for it being true, then you can say it about me, and there's not a lot I can do about it. That's the reason why you see the newspapers covered with false stuff about public officials, because they know that they can get by with it. Because if they don't know it's true, they got some sound basis, and it's not knowledge of the falsity. Now, if it's obviously false, then and they know or should know, then that's reckless disregard for the truth. A high likelihood that it's not true, and going on anyway and saying that about a public official can get you sued. Now, there have been public officials that sue people successfully for saying bad stuff about them, so I still would be careful what you say about people. Defamation, the legal definition of defamation, is false communication about somebody that's unprivileged, disseminated to at least a third person. If it's spoken, it's slander. If it's written, it's libel. And you could even be sued if you repeat somebody else's defamation. So that's the legal definition. There are differences in the status of the people. And the reason why I bring that up is because Mr. Garza is not a public official. He's not. So the standard for him is a little easier for him to sue than a public official, because being a lawyer does not make you a public official. They have taken them out of that mix. They're not considered public officials. They have the same rights as you, private individuals, even though they file public lawsuits. So Mr. Garza is not a public official. His standard to sue me is he has to prove the information was false that I said about him, and that it was disseminated to at least the third person, and that he suffered damages. That's all he has to prove about me if I say something about him. So I have to be very careful. So I'm going to be very factual about him. Now, he can say whatever he wants to about me, pretty much, as long as it doesn't meet the standard of actual malice. So it's harder for me to sue him than it is for him to sue me. He can sue me just by showing the falsity of the statement. It wasn't privileged, and it caused him damages. And if I say something about his legal profession, then he doesn't even have to prove damages. It's just presumed that he suffered damages because it is defamation per se. So if I say something about his law firm that's not true, then he doesn't have to show me how much business, he doesn't have to show the court how much business he lost. It's presumed that he lost business. So presumption, now I can rebut that, but he's probably going to be able to show that. So I'm going to be very careful. I'm not going to say anything that's not true about Mr. Garza. And that's a defense to defamation, is that it's the truth. You can disseminate truthful information about people unless it's protected under the invasion of privacy, where if you disseminate private facts about people that other people have no right to know, which is a different tort, which is you can't report to the public at large that somebody wears Depends, that they pee on themselves, they wear Depends, because that's not something that the public should know about. They have no right to know that private information, even though it's true. That's private information, invasion of privacy. So there are civil laws against disseminating information that's true, if it's information that people have no business knowing. People don't have no business knowing your medical conditions, and that would be an invasion of privacy, and that you could be sued for reporting stuff like that. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in here. So that's good. Thank you all, every one of y'all. Thank you for coming on in. So I'm going to talk about an attorney, so I have to be very careful, right? So you'd say I got a lot of nerve. Yeah, I got a lot of nerve, and I know the law. So we'll talk about Mr. Garza, truthfully, factually. Now, the way the Tennessee courts roll, you know, it is kind of scary because they ruled it was daylight when it was dark in my case when I was trying to get my job back, but rule for the governor is what they do. They don't rule for the truth, but we're going to keep it factual. Here's the fact. Mr. Garza sued me, filed a federal civil lawsuit against me. That's a fact. Mr. Garza, you sued me. And your lawsuit was dismissed. He lost his lawsuit against me. Mr. Garza filed a lawsuit against me that was dismissed in my favor. Now, what he did was, I was cleared over that pursuit incident in 2011, and the Internal Affairs Division put me back to work. Now, I don't know what happened in between there about stuff that was said underhanded or, you know, behind the, you know, the winks and the nods and the handshakes that nobody knows about. I know a little bit about it, but I know that I was back out on the road, made several drunk driving arrests, and they put me back in the driver's license bureau. I was still full law enforcement powers, and then I was called to the office one day, and Mr. Garza had filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against me where I was involved in a high-speed pursuit trying to get a drunk driver stop. He had filed a federal civil lawsuit against me. The very day he filed a federal civil lawsuit against me, they fired me from the Tennessee Highway Patrol. They had already cleared me. I was taken off the job, went to the interview, answered every question in the interview, waived my guarantee warnings because I didn't have nothing to hide. That very day, I'd had my law enforcement powers taken away. I was put on administrative leave with pay, and then I was put back to work, and about a month later, Mr. Garza filed a federal civil lawsuit against me. That's a fact, Mr. Garza. You did. He was interviewed on the news. He was talking about me on the news, representing the man that was violently driving, endangering the public, that was intoxicated, a 0.2 something alcohol level, very dangerous to himself and others. He was so dangerous and violent that he killed himself. And he was defending that man's family against me, trying to get money off me, while I was a trooper out trying to protect society from him. Now, and I was, very effectively. Now, there's a good possibility that he would have wrecked without me being there, so intoxicated. But he was defending him. He was on television talking about his lawsuit against me. And now, remember, I got fired the same day he filed that federal civil lawsuit. So let's see how many people. Yeah, we got a bunch of people on here. So, Mr. Garza, an attorney in Knoxville. Yeah, I got nerve talking about an attorney. As long as you keep it factual, it's all right. It's a fact. He filed a federal civil lawsuit. It's a fact. They fired me the same day the federal civil lawsuit was filed after that already cleared me. So, and he's on television. Now, I'm not sure where it was. I think it was broadcast from the Attorney General's office. Like he's part of the government down here, but I'm not sure where it was. So I'm not going to say that, but he might have been in his office. But he was interviewed on television talking about his lawsuit against me that was later dismissed, Mr. Garza. It was later dismissed. It was talking about it on TV. Now, I don't know. I think that lawsuit led to my wrongful termination, partly, but it had a lot to do with now Major Stacey Heatherly. But he filed the lawsuit. Now, he sued for the parents of the man that killed himself, and was representing them. And the day that the federal lawsuit was dismissed in my favor, they dismissed it, Mr. Garza. You lost your lawsuit against me. Your lawsuit was not truthful against me. It was false. And he still got his law license. I don't have mine. Got the same level of education, but okay. Now, when they dismissed his lawsuit, let me turn that light off. When they dismissed his lawsuit, okay, for some reason it's got the light on. When they dismissed his lawsuit, they were interviewing, not him. He wasn't, on television, what I saw is when they dismissed his lawsuit, he didn't talk to the news media. Now, he talked to him before when he was filing the lawsuit. He was talking to the media. They were interviewing him. He was talking about suing me, what his accusations were against me on the TV, getting a lot of free press, suing a state trooper. But then when the lawsuit was dismissed right over here at federal court, he didn't have a damn word to say. His client was speaking for himself, by himself, for himself. His attorney wasn't nowhere around when he lost his lawsuit. And that's what I seen, my personal experience. So I'm just saying, you can put two and two together. So he got stuff all fired up, and my children were affected by him. My children were affected by him. There were people at my little boy's school. He wasn't out drinking and driving, running from law enforcement. And he knows his defendant's, his affiant's name. He knows the name of the man that was drunk, 0.21 alcohol level and marijuana in his system, refused to stop for law enforcement. And I did nothing wrong. And he knows his name, and he knows his parents' name, but he sued a state trooper, tying him into that drunkenness. I wasn't drinking. I was out doing my job. I didn't hit anybody, didn't kill anybody, didn't hit him, didn't do nothing except for try to get him stopped, to safely put him in jail. But he knows their names, but he doesn't know the names of my 3 children that weren't drunk driving, didn't damage anybody. Mr. Garza, you don't know their names. I know their names. And I don't like you because you, by filing that lawsuit that you lost, Mr. Garza. You weren't there when you lost it, I seen. You don't know the name of my 3 children. Let me tell you what the name of my 3 children is, Mr. Garza. It's Larissa, Joshua, and Andrew. Because of your lawsuit that you lost, my children were chased around by the news media. People made false accusations against them that I'd killed somebody, Mr. Garza. That's what you did to my children by your lawsuit. Let me say it again, Mr. Garza. Sue me. It's on the court record. You lost. Dismissed in my favor, Garza. Now, he's the one running around here that has got his name up on buildings, a ball fan. I'm a ball fan, too. I graduated from the University of Tennessee, so that's Mr. Garza. Those are facts, and I don't like him. In my view, he mistreated my family and my children. He also said in the lawsuit, he said in his little lawsuit, in his accusations against me, that they weren't true. His accusations weren't true. He alleged that I saw a wreck, knew there was a wreck, and intentionally drove by and let somebody burn to death. That's what his accusations were. That's not true, Mr. Garza. That's false. That's false. I was out protecting society from your client, from that was dangerous and drunk. And you didn't sue the people. He was only 20. You didn't sue the people that got him drunk. You went after the trooper that was trying to protect society, took him off the road. Since that has happened, the fatality rate in Tennessee has skyrocketed. It's up 45% in Knoxville right now by the toe tag count. Had I been on the road, still, but I'm not, partly because of you. your false lawsuit against me. That was dismissed in my favor. There wouldn't be as many people dead out here. My children wouldn't have to suffer the evil that people saying insulting things to them. My children that weren't out drinking, Mr. Garza. Now, people say I'm mad and whatever. Yeah, I'm mad about that. I don't like him. I don't like him. And I beat him. In federal court, I won, Mr. Garza. I won against Mr. Garza. Now, the damage that he done is still in effect. And I'm not disgruntled. I'm telling you the truth. So, yeah, we got a bunch of people on there. I'm not mad or disgruntled. I'm just telling you the truth. That's what a lawyer did. And I'm going to explain to you about his lawsuit that he filed against me. Now, he said in his lawsuit that I drove past a wreck, and they spun it and saw somebody that wrecked and needed help and intentionally drove past it. I slowed down and saw the wreck and knew somebody was burning and drove by. And that doesn't even make sense. I'm in pursuit of this man, trying to locate this man, trying to arrest him, hopefully before he hurts somebody else, most importantly, or even before he hurts himself. But they flip it. They change the facts. They gaslight you. I was out protecting society. I protected more people than anybody in the state. I made more successful arrests without anybody getting killed. I didn't make fake arrests like the troopers are doing now. You see all over the news, troopers are making false arrests where people are stone cold sober and they arrest them. You look at the people that I was in pursuit of, that I couldn't save. I tried to. It hurts my heart that I couldn't. I tried to. Wish I'd never been there, but you can't just let everybody go because bad stuff happens when you're out doing what's right because of their actions. So I drove past the wreck because I didn't see it as a wreck. I seen the tail end of the car, which wasn't damaged. The front end was damaged. I seen the tail end of the car, and I even considered, is that it? No, it can't be, because it wasn't overturned, wasn't on fire. I didn't see anything that made it appear like a wreck. So I kept going searching for the car. You know, I mean, they do this all the time in NFL. They have a referee call a play, and they throw in the red flag, and they challenge the call, and they slow motion it down and see what the referee couldn't see on the sidelines in real time, because perception reaction, sure, you can slow stuff down on a video camera and see stuff that you can't see in real time. There's perception reaction differences, limitations, and that's why they don't fire referees when they make a bad call, because it wasn't intentional. They couldn't see it in real time. Things move fast. You can't see everything. And sure, just like I told him in the interview, a camera on a helicopter will see a lot of things a pilot doesn't see. That doesn't mean he's seen it just because a camera picks it up. And the camera picks up exactly what I said. And what the line judge said is on the camera that it's not right. Now, let me show you this. Man, well, evidently it's in my other pocket. So let me show you this right here. Let me show you something very clearly, some evidence that they don't want to talk about, but I'll show you. There we go. Some evidence they don't want to talk about, but let me show you some evidence now. The judge in his case against me said I should have seen the wreck that I drove past, which I didn't see it, because the tail lights were on. Let me put it up here. The tail lights were on. Yeah, we got a lot of people, over 100. The tail lights were on. Now, the Lyon, Tennessee judge wrote in his ruling, a legal ruling, it's supposed to be legitimate, that his tail lights were on. Look at this picture right here. This is when I initiated the lawsuit. When I initiated the pursuit of somebody that needed to be taken off the road, that should have stopped for blue lights. You see those two tail lights clearly on right there. See those tail lights? They're on. That's when I initiated the pursuit of this guy, trying to stop him. Didn't want him to run. Stopped over 100 people that year that I arrested. He didn't want to stop. That's not my fault. That's his fault. That's on him. So those taillights on. Hello. Cat got their tongue. So yeah, and let me show you this right here. That's when I initiated the lawsuit. You can see the taillights clearly. Taillights on. That's what I'm pursuing, those taillights. Now the judge wrote in his ruling that I should have seen the car. Let's get this, because it had a tail light on when it was wrecked up against a tree. When I passed it, there were no lights on. I was there, I know that. I'm an eyewitness on the scene. There was another eyewitness on the scene. They didn't like what she said either, so they just completely discredited that. Imagine that, having a witness. God sees everything. So this is when, and the judge lied, this is when the car was wrecked up against a tree, right here. It's factual evidence. They said I seen that wreck. Mr. Garza said I seen the wreck. There's no taillights on the car. The only glare is my headlights glancing off the back. But see those red, they're not on. They're off. No taillights, none. The judge said they were on. That's not right. The judge wrote a false legal document, didn't he? Judges lie. So Garza said I seen that wreck. No, I didn't. I didn't see it as a wreck. I seen the car, but I thought it was a parked car. He's saying I seen and knew that somebody was, he said in his legal writing that I knew somebody was in need of help. That's not true. That's not true at all. Had I known that had I seen the wreck, I would have stopped immediately, got out and tried to help him. Didn't see that. So that's not right. And he sued me over that. Okay, yeah, we got a bunch of people. So he sued me over that. That's factual evidence. It's not true what he said. And he didn't get that right. And he said I went down the road and hid. And they're saying because I slowed down because I seen the wreck. That I did slow down, but I slowed down because I lost sight of the car and I'm looking for him in the road for it. So I slowed down, not because I saw a wreck and knew somebody needed help. See, they put stuff that don't go there. The same evidence can mean something else, and I know what it means. I was there. What it meant was I was looking for the car and the road splits. I'm trying to figure out which way he went before I take one way. If I see headlights, I slow down to try to find him because I'd lost sight of him, not because I seen a wreck. So that's part of it. Boy, these people, man, zombies. But not because I saw a wreck. And it's because I slowed down because I lost sight of it and the road split. So I'm trying to slow down to see if I can see which way he went before I make a decision which way to go. So they're saying I slowed down because I seen the wreck. That's not true. That's not true at all. It's a dirty lie. I slowed down because even the camera loses sight of the car. So I come across the hill and I'm looking for something way down the road. And the tree stopped, put it right up on me, so it throws your timing off. Even the expert witness testified about that. But the Tennessee courts threw the expert witnesses out. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, to get to where they wanted to go. That's what your Tennessee courts can do. They get to where they want to go. So if an expert witness proves a point conclusively, even an expert witness the Highway Patrol uses, they throw that expert, they don't listen to them, they're not credible. Yeah, they were. The judge wasn't credible. The Tennessee judge was a dirty liar. He lied, wrote a document that appears legitimate. If it's a document from a judge, it's legitimate, right? No, it's not. It was a dirty lie. There's no light on. Look at the picture. He said the judge adjudicated a fight that there's a light on the car. You seen the picture? There's no light on that car when it's wrecked. There was before, showing you before and after. So Mr. Garza filed that lawsuit, and then he said I went down the road and hid after I'd seen the wreck, knew somebody was burned to death. That's a pretty horrific thing to say about somebody that affects them adversely and their children and family. That's what he said about me. That's what he said. Filed a federal lawsuit saying that. Fired me the same day he said that. So I didn't go down the road and hide. He said I went down the road, pulled over the side of the road and hid with my blue lights on. There's a policy I was going by. The Highway Patrol even admits I followed the policy. I drove down the road, and if you can't see a car within 30 seconds, if you lose sight of a car for 30 seconds, you have to terminate the pursuit. That's their rules. I'm following their rules. I always tried to follow the rules, and I was following the rules. I had rules to follow. So I knew I hadn't seen the car. I lost sight of it after it topped the hill. I saw what I thought was a parked car. That's the truth. I didn't see a wreck. It wasn't on fire. It wasn't overturned. There was no lights on. I thought it was a parked car. So, you know, if they're holding me responsible, now this is the spin on this. It's a flip. They're holding me responsible for how somebody else wrecked their car. If he wanted me to find him, he should have wrecked more visibly. I didn't have any control how he turned his steering wheel. If he'd done what I would have ordered him to do, officially, law enforcement was to stop. So I'm being held responsible for the illegal actions of a dangerous, drunk, fleeing felon. That's a pretty good trick. Wow, how does that happen? Well, you Tennessee judges, that's what they did. But a federal judge dismissed his lawsuit. Dismissed the federal case, but the Tennessee judges, boy, they get on something and rule for the governor, because the governor is the governor's highway patrol. And it was the governor that fired me. You know, Mr. Bill Hasby, and I'm not bitter. This isn't bitter. This is something that affects you today. The traffic fatality rate has risen, 45% more bodies on Knox County roads. I was stopping that. Now, he got killed, unfortunately. That's horrible. That's horrible. But he did that to himself. I didn't do that to him. He did it to himself. If he'd done what I asked him to do, out serving the public, he would have stopped, just like hundreds of other people did. I saved their lives and other people's. I hate that I couldn't save his life. That's not my fault. How do you drag a trooper into somebody's drunken party? That's what the Tennessee courts did. They're pretty crooked, aren't they? They're still the same ones today. They'll do you the same way. It doesn't matter. Truth doesn't have any bearing on a Tennessee court judge. I'm telling you, they don't. Now, I'm not saying that about Mr. Garza. He has every right to file a lawsuit. And I don't know about I'm not speaking about his personal honesty. I'm just saying the stuff he said in his lawsuit was false, dismissed by a federal judge. Federal judges get a little less home cooking, but it was dismissed, not by a Tennessee judge. He didn't file any Tennessee case against me. But I don't like him, because he made my children go through a bunch of stuff. And, you know, that's that. But I wanted to talk about that this morning. So yeah, we got a bunch of viewers, and I appreciate y'all. God bless y'all. So we're fighting that dirty corruption. People that allow drunk drivers to run around here and fire the police. And Knoxville City officers, they'll do you the same way. And that also sent a message: you get out here and do your job. Single-handedly, people blowing single-handedly lower the fatality rate. They honor somebody that endangered themselves, and that's sad that he died that way. I'm sad about that. Where's the people that got him drunk, 20 years old? Where are they at? Why don't you prosecute them? That's kind of serious to get a 20-year-old drunk. I didn't have anything to do with that. But ruin my whole life over that? It's not ruined. I'm still out here fighting them. But to defame me falsely? They fired me the same day he filed a lawsuit against me. So that's the truth about Mr. Garza. You see his signs everywhere. Every time you see a sign, think about Charles Van Morgan and that I beat him in a lawsuit. In federal court, where you get a little bit better justice from a federal judge that ain't constrained by the dirty Tennessee courts. I'll say it again. And I just showed you what they did. They put legitimacy to stuff that's not true by a judge writing it down. Just because a judge says it doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's true at all. The judge lied on me. They even had a judge that ruled in favor, Tennessee courts, that ruled in favor of a man trying to get his job back. Marty Nix, the judge ruled in his favor. He was originally signed to my case because he was an honest judge. I probably would have got my job back. But they reassigned a judge for no reason out of the blue. They're assigned by random, but they reassigned Judge Lefevre, and he's the one that lied on me. So they handpicked a judge to rule against me. Mr. Haslam had him handpicked, I guess. A handpicked judge that ruled against me in in my case to try to get my job back. Because the other judge that was originally assigned ruled in favor of Marty Nix getting his job back, and Marty Nix should have got his job back. But the state's got a lot of money. They appealed an adverse decision against him and kept his job away. Marty Nix got fired because he reported sexual harassment. But you can't report sexual harassment against supervisors. They won't let you. But Marty Nix is a good man. So yeah, but I wanted to run that by you this morning about, and it's not about me. I'm not bitter. The reporter that said that I was bitter, talking about this stuff that happened 11 years ago, he's bitter. You look at his videos, and I'm not saying his name, giving him credibility, but he's got like 12 views. Just the other day, I got like total in the past 3 days, I got 20,000 views on my YouTube channel. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. We're getting the word out. So yeah, there's a lot of people in here right now. Close to 100, been over 100. So thank you all. God bless you all. So we're still here, live now. Fraud election on the other side, live now, and my QR code. If you want to advertise any local business, then charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com. We will definitely advertise for you. If you want to work out some kind of agreement, we're new at advertising, so it won't be that much. We're out here on the Henley Street Bridge, a funnel to all the traffic in Knoxville. You'll get a lot of advertisement, and if your business does well, because that's putting the word out. I'll put my square icon if anybody wants to donate to keep the movement going, keep your voice going. I certainly would appreciate it. We are fighting for you. We're not bitter. We're telling you the truth about things. This rogue government still goes on. They cover for each other, lie for each other, get court rulings that put legitimacy to lies, to blatant, flat out, dirty lies. And because it's from a judge, it seems legitimate. It's not legitimate. I know it's not true. Let me talk about this briefly, about the Tennessee court system. Now they also, I said that I drove past that wreck and didn't see it as a wreck. I saw it as a parked car and went on trying to find the car, and got dispatched to it after I'd ended the pursuit, following policy. The policy said you had to pull over and wait a minute, so if you hadn't seen the car for 30 seconds. But also there's another witness on the scene that night. Imagine that, somebody else there that was awake and had a testimony to what happened that night, that seen stuff at 3:30 in the morning. So just let me run this by you here. This is very important. So a lady called 911 to report that wreck. She called 911 to report that wreck that I drove past because I didn't see it. I drove past the wreck because I didn't see it as a wreck. I thought it was a parked car. I was looking for the car that was leaving the scene, and I tried to stop it originally because it's doing 79 and a 40, speeding. Another lady on the scene, Miss Darling, a lady named Miss Darling, was in her room and across the street from the wreck, and she called 911 to report not because she's seen a wreck. She called 911 because she heard a wreck. So she hears a loud crash, gets on the phone, calls 911, looks out her window to see if she can see anything. She can't see anything. Like me, didn't see anything. Wow, isn't that important? Didn't see any tail lights on the car. Didn't see anything. And she made a statement. And the next day, since she called 911, the highway patrol shows up at her door, knocks on her door, says, you know why I'm here? And this, yeah, Miss Darling. She says, he wants to talk to her about the wreck. And she says, he said, this is Joe Walker with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Criminal Investigation Division, Saturday, the 26th November, 9:33 a.m. They're out the next day talking with Shirley Darling about a crash in Knox County, Answerville Pike near Hill Road. Charlie, you understand why I'm here? taping the conversation. It's taped. And this is fact. Walker, how did you come to find out about the crash? How did you find out about the crash? She didn't say, I looked out my window and I seen it. It's blazing. Nobody could have missed that. Did you say? No, she didn't say that. That's not what they wanted her to say, though. Miss Darling, I heard, she said, I heard a loud noise. I heard a loud noise. It's a fact. You know, I'll give you the tape of this. So there's an ambulance right there. We'll wait till it gets by. So, yeah. Those people are angels whenever you need help. So she said, how'd you come to find out about the crash? Darling, I heard a loud noise and I thought a car had maybe come down Hill Road and run into one of the brick columns out here. And I looked out my bedroom window and then I couldn't see anything. It was dark. And then I saw a light colored. It must have been something like a van or something like that. That's another car coming down the road. So she looked out her bedroom window. She seen a car driving down the road. She heard a crash, looked out her bedroom window, and in her own words, I couldn't see anything. It's like, man, I couldn't see anything. It's off the road in the dark. They light it up. Darling, I don't know. Can't figure it out. It wasn't burning, but I saw somebody, and I thought, well, maybe the fire, inaudible. I mean, because it wasn't burning before that, Walker. So you heard a loud bang, darling. That's primarily what I heard, Walker. Okay. And then she says that, let me get the other page here. She says 6 times that she couldn't see a wreck. She didn't see anything. And testifies honestly 6 different times she couldn't see anything. So that's an eyewitness on the scene that didn't see anything. Now look at this though. Joe Walker in his report writes, Sergeant Joe Walker, interviewing 911 call when Trooper Van Morgan reported narrative. Miss Darling stated she heard a loud crash, looked out her bedroom window, and saw a vehicle hit a tree. That's what he wrote in his police report. His police report, that's what he wrote. That's what they'll do to you. But she said, and he signed that, he said she looked out her bedroom window and seen a crash, car that hit a tree. What she said, her testimony was, and he lied. I heard a loud noise. I thought a car maybe come down and hit one of the brick columns. I looked out my bedroom window and that I couldn't see anything. It was dark. But he said that she saw a car hit a tree, but she said she couldn't see anything. She seen a car hit a tree later, but when she looked out her bedroom window, she couldn't see anything. So that's false. That's a lie. So that's how they get stuff through a dirty, crooked Tennessee court system. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm not bitter. Part of it still affects me today. It's defamation. Try to get a job when they say something bad about that. You're out serving the public like a Vietnam soldier in a foreign war, doing what they ask you to do. Trying to protect human life, doing everything right. And they lie about you. They come back and people try to spit on you, say bad stuff about you, affects your children. Like Vietnam soldiers, I know how they feel. And that's not the same thing as being a Vietnam soldier. But it is similar. It is similar. So we're going to get off here. We're going to be back on here probably Monday morning. God bless you all. Thank you all for showing up. Let's see what some of the comments say. Okay, let's read the comments. It says, you gave me a notification to click on saying Charles Van Morgan has under 100,000 subscribers. The live views are limited. I think maybe the way you go about your attitude freaks out YouTube computer. I get a lot of views. Here on YouTube, you are not monetized, though. Are you streaming on multiple platforms? No. Let's see. Hello. I'd like to mention as soon as I tried to click on your video, YouTube gave me a notification to click on saying Charles Van Morgan has under 1,000 subscribers. The live views are limited. So, okay, well, we're trying to build that up and change that. I may be the way you go, yeah, attitude that freaks out your YouTube computer. my attitude is what God gave me. So you may need to talk to Him about it, and have a conversation with Him about my attitude. He gave it to me. I like my attitude. It is a good attitude, positive, trying to protect society. So thank y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all, and we'll be back out here Monday morning. Click on the square icon and try to help me get monetized. Share, like the video, and I'll put my square icon in the comments. Help me do the exploratory campaign, maybe possibility running for Tennessee governor. With question mark. We'll go across the state. We'll do news, do journalism. And if you want to fund that, we sure appreciate it. And we'll be out here next Monday morning, a few hours, doing this again with some more stuff. Today we talked about Attorney Garza. Every time you see a sign, remember to think about Charles Van Morgan beat him in a federal lawsuit. He lost. Hello, Mr. Garza. Have a good day. So you all remember, God loves you. Subscribe, like my channel. Donate to this campaign. Donate to journalism. I'll travel the state, report on stuff. And God loves you, and I do too. Till next Monday morning, about the same time. Thank you all.